everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome to my channel. This is where I talk about twin flame process and do readings for twin flames. This reading is going to be about the energy now. So what I've been doing in the past is putting a date on the reading, but I'm being guided to not put a date on, so all readings are for now. So that's basically now whenever I'm reading it, and it's now whenever you're looking at it. The date, if you're interested in knowing the date, is the 20th of August 2023. But as energy expands in all directions and doesn't follow the calendar, this is going to apply to whoever clicks on it whenever they click on it, basically. And the other thing to say is that if anybody wants to get a personal reading or do a session, you can find my details on my website, and the link to that is in the description box below. So what we need to know about the energy right now is the energy is quite heavy and quite low. It might be bringing you down somehow. So you might be feeling worn out, you might be feeling tired, you might be feeling fed up, you might be feeling quite heavy physically and drained physically, just tired. You might be feeling depleted nutritionally, you might feel like you need to take time out and lie down. You might also feel fed up some way with your life, and you might feel like you can't see any kind of possibilities coming up for you future-wise, and you can't find a direction like inside of yourself to move forward, and it might feel quite like you're being pressured into this, like, cornered, basically. It's a feeling of being cornered, like you can't move forward in life, and you've got nowhere to go. So like you might look at all these opportunities of, should I do this, should I do that, could I do this, could I go there? And in all those, although they're opportunities, you just don't feel a way in for you and a way out of where you're at. So this is all energetic, right? So you might feel like it's a real thing, like it's the humdrum of daily life as being a human being, and you might feel quite like there's this feeling of resistance inside yourself, like, why can't I have like a really expansive, like, joyful life as a physical human being? You might be looking around you at people that got loads of money or have nice houses or live in nice places, and or have like the relationship that looks like the one, and you're like, well, why don't I have that, and why can't I have that? So the reason is because of the energetic process, basically. So your feeling that comes up in relation to the resistance of the moment that you're in is about your twin flame process. So this is about bringing the masculine forward. So for the masculine to move forward, the operating mechanism, right, of twin flames is that the feminine has to go into the energy of the masculine to bring the masculine forward. So you have to basically experience what is the feeling of the masculine to get them out of that feeling and allow them to move forward in life. They just said self-flagellation. So self-flagellation is when you beat yourself up for like something being wrong. In terms of the masculine, they beat themselves up for like everything being wrong. So they beat themselves up about their past. They beat themselves up about who they are. They beat themselves up about every relationship they've ever had, about their work life, their career, their friendships. They're saying it's a sad and sorry story that they tell themselves about their life. So their feeling of all that is how you feel at the time you have to go back and clean up that mess. And you cleaning up the mess is by you feeling that, and then you coming out of that later on into a feeling of brightness, a feeling of positivity, a feeling of a better future, feeling all these potentials and like the energy expanding outwards again into like possibilities of future scenarios, and feelings of like, how can I get there now, and things of, oh, I'm going to do this now, and just like basically they're saying getting up off your ass and doing something more, and in doing that you'll bring the masculine out of their foreboding and their negativity of the future. So what they deal with is not being able to move forward. And what you deal with is having to go backwards in terms of how you feel inside of yourself so you can help them move forward. So this is a case right now of one step back. It's not like, because it's now, right? This could end at any time. It could end today. There's something here that happens, right, where it's like you go back one step. It's like stretching an elastic band, right? So it's like the elastic band just pulls back a bit. and then the next minute, boom, and it pulls out again, and you come back into higher self, and you feel free, and you feel expansive, and you feel wonderful, and you feel all these possibilities, and you're ready to you feel ready to dip a toe in the ocean of the future. However, I've got to say, because the process is 1 step backwards, 2 steps forwards, the feminine moving forward again, how they show me the dipping the toe in the ocean of the future is the toe hovering over the ocean. So you might feel the possibilities of moving forward, but you're not able to actually get your foot in the water and move forward because you're still in process. So any minute you're going to feel all this potential of the future, and then you're going to be asked to snap back again and go backwards again and feel and go down again into the lower part of the spectrum of what is like human reality, mentality, emotionality, and feel all this that detriment again before you spring forward again into the higher consciousness of the feminine and the the applause of the value of vibrational accuracy and back into your point of attraction and move the whole thing forward again. So that's what the energy is right now. But it is going to be over any minute, just as they say. It could be any second, it could be any minute, it could be now, basically. And it's not that anything is ever wrong in this, it's exactly how it has to be. So it's not like there's something wrong and you have to feel bad about it, or you have to feel worried about it, or you have to feel like it shouldn't be how it is. It has to be how it is, because that's twin flame process. So everybody knows twin flames don't come together easily. Well, they might come together easily initially to set off the process, but once in separation, the process of reunion is quite a long drawn out process, because there's many factors involved in bringing it to conclusion, and the factors are the humanness of the participants. So it's the fact that you are human and you are operating through the mechanism of the mind and the heart that the bringing it into conclusion, which is bringing the two human beings into the state of higher consciousness where they reunify is it's like bringing the mountain to Muhammad, they're saying. It's like, it's like becoming at one with God. It's the God principle, basically. It's coming together with source, right? So to bring two human beings into that location of consciousness, it takes time, and there's a lot of ins and outs, i.e. 2 step backs. 1 step back, 2 step forwards in bringing it to conclusion. But every time you go back, you are there for less time. So every time you step back into the masculine consciousness to help them move forward or to bring them forward, you are there for less time each time, and generally. And as you reach the end of your process, these intervals of entering into the masculine consciousness are going to get shorter and shorter and shorter. That's not to say that you will not be stepping back in other ways also, because you are cleaning up energy. So you are cleaning up all negativity and you're bringing everything into the light. So you might have other engagements in there. Well, you will have. Not might have, you will have other engagements in a physical sense with other human beings where there has been grief, sadness, loss, anger, resentment, anything that's not feeling good, basically, where you will go back into that consciousness around that event, and you will clear that up by feeling it all again. This is what's called letting go, right? So to let go, you have to go back into these things. So you might find yourself revisiting memories in the mind and in the feelings. You might find yourself crying about these events, situations, people that you've known, and feeling it all again like it's today, right? Because it's all about the now moment, and it's everything is everything. It's all the same. It's all one. It's all now. So you can feel it just like it's now. That's why grieving is such a huge deal in the human framework, because everything is always the same moment. So you can grieve for someone that you lost 25, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, as though you're grieving for the very first time about losing that person right now. There's no, there is no signing off on this ability to be in the moment of of whatever is needed to be in, basically. So you revisit that in other ways as well. So it's going to feel sometimes in this process as though you don't know if you're coming or going, because you feel like, or you think, I should say, egoically, that it's all about the one person that you're connected to, which is the one that you call the twin flame, but it's actually about everything and everybody and all of you. And in essence, it's about relieving yourself of the burden of shame. So, and shame comes in many forms, and grief is actually about shame. It's about, a lot of it is survivor guilt. It's a feeling of, if you've noticed when you grieve, you'll find yourself saying, I'm really sorry, I'm really sorry, I'm so sorry. And you're saying it to the person that you lost. And it's about your feeling that, you either let them down because you survived and they went away, or you did something wrong that made them go away. Energies are all the same no matter how it happens. So abandonment, like if you lose a parent or a sibling or a friend, or anyone that you've loved, feelings of abandonment are the same no matter what. It doesn't matter how the person left. It doesn't matter if they actually wanted to leave you or they didn't want to leave you at all. The feeling is the same thing. It feels like you've been left, and it feels like maybe you did something wrong, and there's a feeling of shame attached to that. So you'll notice you're clearing the feeling of shame, because shame is not compatible with a feel good. It's not compatible with feeling good at all. So you've got to clear it. So you've got to come into recognition of that. Where is the shame in what I'm actually going through? And look at, what basically you can look at whatever emotion that's coming up when you do this clearing work of going backwards, and then assess not what is the person that you're thinking about, so i.e. is it my twin flame or not. So it's not about that. That's not the important part. It's about whatever it is that's coming up in relation to whatever it is that you're grieving, and that, and how you're grieving it. So, and then look at the actual emotion that is coming up, and is it actually, are you locking in? Are you zoning in on the thing that you're really grieving, and the emotion, because all emotions that are negative have to be cleared. So, like they're saying, shame is a really big one that can pin us down. You just look at anything. You could have had a conversation yesterday with somebody, a simple conversation, and you come away with like a sticky, icky feeling in your stomach, like, oh, I said something wrong, right? And when you've got that feeling, it's actually shame. So you've got to look at the feeling and what the feeling is, not just feel it, to understand what you're clearing. And if you had an interaction yesterday and today you're feeling like, oh God, I think I shouldn't have said that, then know that is shame that you're clearing, because you can't go through life feeling ashamed of yourself, and everything is intrinsically exactly as it's meant to be. So whatever conversation you had, you were meant to have in the way that you had it, and there's never any shame in anything. Okay, so let's get some cards out and have a look at what they've got to say. Sun, good. So everything is for good, right? Twin flame process, everything. There is one eventuality, and that is the feeling good, and it's the freedom from all of it. It's a liberation from fear. So it's a liberation from all negative potentials, possibilities, feelings, outcomes, from shame, basically. It's the release from fear. Timing, Wheel of Fortune. So it's moving forward, right? So we're talking about maybe today, or even just that moment just then, when I was talking, that you were feeling some shame, or feeling sad, or feeling low, and maybe even by now you're feeling better. Because energy moves really quickly, right? It's not. It doesn't stand. It's like emotions, you can feel really good one minute and really ashamed the next minute. It can snap the other way, really ashamed, really good. It's like, it's a quick turnover. It's a fast turnover emotionally. Energy is a fast turnover as well. Two of Pentacles, two people, so bringing one up, basically. Bringing one up into higher consciousness. Stepping backwards, get the masculine, bring them back up into higher consciousness, help them let go of whatever shame it is that they're feeling about themselves. And I have to say, with the masculine, the shame is like all encompassing. It's about all of them. It's about everything. All of them, all of that person, right? It's not like just one thing. It's like, it's everything. It's a burden of shame, really. High Priestess moving into high consciousness and let go, and the Chariot, masculine and feminine, coming together. So then you bring them into alignment with you. So you move back up into higher consciousness and you bring them up into higher consciousness. So you're becoming aligned. And the alignment is what's necessary for the reunion to occur. So it's when you're both in higher consciousness. Although the process and the progress is sporadic of both arriving in higher consciousness, and it goes dormant again. So it's where you feel like you're going to have your reunion, right? You feel like it's tomorrow. You feel like they're going to call, they're going to text any minute. You can feel it, like it's just about to happen, and then it just goes away, right? Because it just drops back down again, because the masculine goes dormant again, and they lose the ability to stay in a higher conscious state, and they lose it. They go back into like, oh no, like this oh no mentality of like everything being negative. So you've got to go back and get them again when that happens. And so we go on, right? And this is the process. The star, healing. So you could call that healing if you wanted to call it healing. Healing the masculine. Temperance, which is from dark to light. It's from lower consciousness to higher consciousness. A high consciousness is freedom. So when you arrive back, when the feminine arrives back in a higher conscious state, the actual higher conscious state is just a let go. It's a let go of even being bothered about being a twin flame. It's a let go of even being concerned that that is what you are. It's a complete freedom from the paradigm that you're existing through. And you feel freed from everything. There is no worry. You feel like you're not even part of it. It's not even what you're doing. You feel like you're so attached to like your real life, your human life, that you could so go ahead with all these plans for the future because you feel so at one with your physical self, and your mind and your emotions feel aligned with what you want and the potentials, and you feel like you could participate again. But you don't participate because you won't participate. Not until the masculine comes along, because when you move along, you're going to move along together, which is the heart of the matter. So that's it really there. Let's have a look. Four of Wands, which is homecoming, vibration, and timing to come back together and move on together through homecoming of vibration, through the vibration aligning, basically, through it feeling as though you're at one with yourself and all your beingness, your human beingness, mind, emotions, physicality. Perhaps not noticing your vibrationality so much, apart from you can notice where your vibrations align because you feel good and you're not worrying about anything, and you just don't have any questions, because questions are always about something being wrong. If it wasn't wrong, you wouldn't be asking a question about it. So like I say, you just don't feel like you're even part of the twin flame process anymore because you don't have any questions about it, because it feels so unreal. So again, it's like that, it feels like the drop down when you go into the masculine state, feels like the whole thing is unreal. And you're like, I'm just imagining it. I haven't even gone through this. And you go back into the higher conscious state, absolutely, completely it's real and it's the only reality. So, and it's moving, across that border of like, well, things can only be what they appear to be in the physical, which is absolute nonsense, because the truth is things can be in the physical, whatever it is you're lining up there in your vibration that they should be or can be for you. So everything is vibration before it's physical, basically, and that is the truth, and that means anything can be anything, and nothing is set in stone. And that's just that is the illusion that we live in, that you're sitting there and you're looking into the garden and there's a stone, and the stone is a stone is a stone, and it can only be a stone. But in truth, the stone can turn into whatever it is you want it to turn into at any minute if you believe it can. So, like a rabbit being pulled out of a hat by a magician, it's magical. The universe that we exist in is magical. It is not mundane. And then Ten of Cups, which is happy outcome and relationship. So everything again lining up for a happy outcome and a relationship. That is the culmination of the process. And what is underneath is new road forward. Two of Wands, new road forward, masculine and feminine coming together through all the lessons that have been learned. So this is everything cleared off your plate, basically. Wheel of Fortune is your plate. So it's however many times you have to go into those past memories and situations that you've been in to, you could say, review it through the mind and bring up the emotions again through reviewing it through the mind and feel those emotions and come out the other side of that with a better conclusion, with a more feeling good conclusion. So it might be however many times you have to go back into a memory of someone that you've lost and feel the loss again and recognise that you're hanging on to some kind of guilt about it and come out of it realising that, and then saying to yourself in your head, well, now I see that that's part of it. You can't say, well, I'm never going to do that again, or I'm not going to feel that guilt, because you don't know until the next time you go into it. But the recognition of it might mean that the next time you go in, you are different when you go into those memories. So, and in all of these avenues that you go down, you will clear up for the masculine all their guilt and their shame, basically. So another thing is that's why I'm saying we can't say, right, that you're not going to go back in and feel that again, because if the masculine's still feeling guilt and burdened, then you'll go back in and you will feel it again because you're clearing it up for them. So you might be like, why the hell do I keep having to go back into these memories of this person when they're long gone? And, when I know that most of the time I don't even think about them and I don't feel anything. And I know what happened for a reason, and they had to go because it was part of my progress through life. And, and I'll see them again because you see everybody again, because vibrationally we're all one and we're always vibrational. And even so, you go back in and you feel it all again because you're going to have to go in and feel it for the masculine. So it's not all about them, basically. It's not all about you thinking about them and feeling about them. It's about you feeling about a lot of other people that you've known and a lot of situations and things that have happened to you and events and stuff, and clearing up through those different roads. So that's why they've got like Two of Wands underneath, which is a road forward, and masculine and feminine coming together, and the healing, right, and the higher self. And, remember, highest consciousness knows what it's doing, so everything is always exactly as it should be. So your let go of feeling anything is wrong in your process is where you should be at, because everything has to be how it has to be, because it's a process. And higher self knows where it's taking you. So you've got to let go and let it just take you along for the ride and not fight against the what is, basically, and whatever feelings are coming up. Chariot, the now moment. So masculine and feminine coming together in the now moment. So when you are coming together with your twin flame, is those times when you are revisiting in yourself things that feel uncomfortable, reviewing them again, feeling them again. That's the masculine coming towards you to ask you to clear up for them in an internal state. And Two of Wands and romance. So it's all leading you to romance and love, basically. That's where it's all going to take you. It's just the process of getting there. The Sun, what you draw to you, so it's all for good. The Devil is what you draw to you, and it all being for good. Ten of Cups, completion, from the dark to the light. So it's just coming into the light, basically, where everybody is free. And everybody, I mean the twin flames, both free of burdens of shame and guilt, and therefore any repercussions that come from those feelings of shame and guilt, affecting them in the present moment between each other, basically. Queen of Swords, the brain of the feminine, so it's bringing them together, so it comes through you. Temperance, dark to light, and love, and it all being about love. So that's the service of love of twin flames, basically, that the feminine goes back for the masculine and revisits feelings that are uncomfortable to feel, that don't feel good. And it's the service of love. So that's what twin flame love is. That's how it's beyond just some kind of romantic idealism. Because the service of love that is required to basically come here to do this and be in physical form and your life be about this process, and your life really to be about revisiting emotions continually, always going 2 steps back to go into these emotions again, whatever emotion it is that you've got to revisit. That is giving up basically a lot of other reasons that humans are here, whatever it is they've decided to come here for and experiment with. Coming here to be rich and famous, or coming here to be royalty, or coming here to be beautiful and fated for their beauty. There's a lot of reasons that you come into a human beingness. So to come into human beingness for a twin flame process, which is a service of love, is it's beyond comprehension, basically, from a human aspect. So it's not really, it's really, 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 really ungraspable from a human aspect, because of course humans operate from mentality. So immediately the mentality wants to fight against that and say, well, it's wrong and I shouldn't be here for this process, because why can't I have come here for something else that was more pleasant than this? But you came here for this, and this is this, and that's that, and that's how it is. So there isn't really there isn't anything to say from a human perspective. You can't go through the ego and get to that understanding. Right, so Wheel of Fortune, and of course it could always be worse than it is. Ace of Wands, which is pure potential, timing on pure potential. So it's just that feeling of let go, and the feeling of, also knowing what it is and understanding, oh, this is what it is. It's a process, and it's the process of coming into the light, and it's a process of, and it's a service of love, right? Will help you align with your vibrational accuracy, because there's a let go in knowledge, and there's a let go in understanding that everything has to be how it is. And you can't turn the clock forward in a, what's happening next Tuesday kind of a way. In the way that you would wish, because all that causes is resistance. When you get to next Tuesday and you're looking at for it next Tuesday and it hasn't happened next Tuesday, it still didn't happen, and you go into more resistance, you look for the next date on the Gregorian calendar it might happen by. But the thing is, energy is going to move along with the process and not with the Gregorian calendar until you wind through all the dates, so the prospective dates that it could be, and when you come up against a date, you're just like, it doesn't affect you anymore, and it doesn't matter at all to you what the date is, or whether it was you heard here or there or wherever that it might be next Tuesday or whatever. It just washes by you and it doesn't affect you anymore. So it's like you have to delete the clock. It's deleting Gregorian timing, basically. Is part of coming into alignment with your point of attraction. So time does not exist, basically. And everything happens when it's meant to happen, when it will happen. And that's that. And it's happening according to higher consciousness, which doesn't see a clock. 4 of Wands and homecoming and vibrational accuracy. And then we got 10 of Pentacles on that, which is completion physically. So it's when you let go of everything, it completes physically, because it's only when you let go of everything you're going to feel completely comfortable in the present moment. And then you'll both be aligned in the present moment, both masculine and feminine, completely comfortable in the present moment, which is when the outcome exists. So it's when it comes into existence. So it's never about next Tuesday or next Wednesday or next Thursday. It's about when is it going to exist due to your vibration. And that could be any time. And then how long are you going to remain in that vibration of now continually? Because has the work been done? And you're never going to know until you're there if the work's been done or not. You might be in that continuation of feeling good for 6 weeks, and then suddenly you find yourself back in feeling bad, and you realise you're not there. Do you see what I mean? So you've got to let go of it being now, and then it might be now, basically. High Priestess, Nine of Swords, it's the ending in the mind that takes you into higher consciousness state. So it's the stopping thinking about it and focusing on it and wondering when and getting angry about when, and all that kind of stuff. Star, healing, outcome. Queen of Wands, vibration of the feminine. It's created through the vibration of the feminine. And that's it, and that's where we're going to leave the reading. Just to remind you, underneath what we had was a road forward, and it does lead to love. The road leads to love, basically. But it's a long and winding road that takes you there. Okay? And that's the energy for now. And see you in the next one. Lots of love. Bye.